محمد بالله أسامة. Okay, Shabab, we have the examination committee here. So if you can tell us really about your project and show us a demo, please. Maybe we should start with the poster, Shabab. Let's start with the poster.
بعد
ان شاء الله نرفعها للسيتي بالالوان.
طيب تعالوا هنا عند البوستر. اسف على المقاطعه دكتور عثمان.
انه خلصنا بالاكزامينر الا اذا احنا مش
لا الاكسترنال اكزامينر احنا نوزعنا.
We show first introduction, our problem statement. Our main problem is that some devices consume a lot of power because they are wasted. They are turned on most of the times. It has society impacts because electricity bills are increasing day by day. For the requirement, the most important requirement is wireless connectivity. We want to communicate everything through wireless. We don't want a lot of wires because the devices are a lot inside the homes. We have programmed condition. We want the user to set a condition to work anytime. We don't want the user to anytime log in to turn on a light or off anytime through a condition. All of these are in cloud-based server. And we have manual override in case of there is no internet. You can enable devices manually. This is the approaches. We have one of the approaches is that we provide everything, but this is not cost effective. Building a private cloud is very costly. This is why we are using public cloud. We are contracting with a third party to give the components. All we are providing is the software as a service with monthly or yearly subscription. This is the use case diagram. The client or the user can log in, sign up, turn on a device or set a condition. The admin, of course, the admin in this case for authentication and authorization is the cloud itself. We have utility companies. This is part of our business model, is that they collect statistics from us. The consumption of power can be sold to a third party like electricity companies.
So speaking of business model, basically your value proposition is you want to save electricity and save money.
Yes.
And how does your company make money?
From the user.
Can you be very specific?
Okay. We are contracting with people who are building houses. We come to them and we tell them that we are providing this service. We'll install the system in your home. We'll give you the service software as a service in the cloud, and you will pay monthly or yearly fees. Of course, the payment from the user, the owner of the apartment.
So you're providing a full solution. You're not providing a controller only.
Yes, the full solution, but the distribution of this is not done by us, by a third party. We'll tell them what are the supported devices. They will provide everything. We just provide the service, the software as a service.
So you provide the software as a service.
Yes.
The infrastructure you provide the controller.
Controller.
And the third party provides.
The controller. The third party also provide the controllers. They will go and install them, and we give them the software and everything to install. We are just dealing with the software.
And the control devices come from manufacturers or?
This third party. This third party take care of all these devices. We give them a list of supported devices. They will search for them, and they have stock. They will get the stock and install everything themselves.
So,
But they have to go through you.
Hmm?
They have basically to go through you. Basically, you deal with the customer, and they will come through you. I mean, they will not reach to the customer directly.
I think they will provide the system requirements and the list of devices that their system supports,
Yes.
and then they can buy it from anywhere because their
This
system
is
will
an option
support.
also.
Like this is an option, could be that.
So your model is to go for new houses or retrofit or both?
Both new houses. If you have already built house, small modifications, because you can take out the outlets and install the XBs. Actually, some devices. I think there's a product from GE, which is a smart outlet. When you break it in, there is an XB inside. The same product.
Are there like similar solutions in the market?
I don't think so. There is Nest, Google Nest, but these provide only 3 devices, and they use Wi-Fi, which is expensive. And you have they provide the API, which you can connect them to other devices. So you still have to do some work.
Okay, because for commercial value, you said the cost is around 300 riyal, right?
Yes, of course it will be less because we are buying on.
But this will be the cost of what? The 300 riyals?
The controller, if you bought only one, it will cost about 140, 150. XBs, each one cost about $20.
But if you have massive amounts, it will reduce automatically. If you have مثلا large number of customers.
أيوة,
yeah.
if I have a large, it will be very cost effective.
Yeah.
The service, it has to have some calculation because we are also paying for AWS.
Yes.
AWS has a very good feature which is elasticity. The more you need resources or platform, they will expand. If I have, for example, this year 100,000 extra user, they will give us more resources, CPU, RAM, and if I get less customer, it will reduce. So I will use just as much as I want from resources.
What's the wireless standard?
IEEE 802.15.4.
Did you investigate how this would perform in our kind of architecture, which is reinforced concrete and so on? How it would behave? Because that seems to be a standard that is used globally for smart homes. The way to overcome that, I think, here is to deploy as many devices so they can know to communicate. But if you put the device, if most of what you want to control is near the kitchen and living room, and you have one device at the other end of the house, I think that's...
There will be relay nodes.
Yes,
Relay nodes,
you
okay.
have a router. The XB can be coordinator, router, and device. Coordinator, you must have one and only one, no more, no less, in each network. Router, end devices basically is the end devices, but they don't give signals to other end devices. You set them as this router so that the coordinator will tell the router, take this signal and give it to the other end device. So you can build a mesh network, a huge network. And also the XBs can have antennas. They have, without the antenna, 100-meter line of sight. They say inside the homes, it has about like 20 meters. Actually, it's less, but with routers, you can very easily overcome this problem.
I like the way you approached it in the video, which is you connected immediately to consumption and your bills and so on. Are you catering more for automation or control? Because smart homes, the way they're used today, is mostly, people say smart home, but it's actually either automation or control. Automation is something similar to Nest, which is something you install once, you automate. It looks nice to show your neighbors, look, I have the screen, but you never control, you never interact with it on a daily basis eventually. Control is more like, somebody's at your door, you want to unlock the door, turn on your phone or from the cloud and turn on. But which?
Maybe both, because we are turning on off devices. You can also set up a condition. If you want this lamp to work from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., you can do that and you leave it forever.
Like the AC, actually,
Yes.
they showed in the demo. You could
And,
set the temperature, and the AC automatically turns on or off.
First, we are controlling only. Then
you're automating.
yeah, machine to machine learning like Nest and so on.
So you have both actually.
Did you consider motion and sound detectors as a possible way to automate or to
Yes.
integrate with this? Because I don't see anything like that.
There is because they are all sensors. I mean, we will have in the business model we have a list of services we call because users don't maybe understand sensors. We can tell them we can detect temperature for you. We can detect gas. We can turn on light based on motion. So any kind of sensors, if they are feasible, we'll provide them. The reason we didn't do it here because motion, any other sensor, rain sensor, soil sensor, they all work the same way. So we just provided temperature. We can take off temperature and put motion instead of it.
Why are you using the cloud in the first place? Why you just make a deployment inside the house and that's it? Why do you have to involve the cloud?
Because we want the user to access the home anywhere. Because as we said, one of the most important problems is that the user sometimes forget that he turned off light, turn on light. Maybe he go out and realize that he will return very late. So he can't access the home. He can't access the home remotely. This is the main reason for public, so that the user can access. I mean, your home is here. You are in America. You can access the cloud.
You don't need a cloud to access remote. You just provide access to your home.
No, can access anywhere.
Let him answer يا بالله يا دكتور.
But you need a cloud for that.
No, let's do.
Because if it's like we're providing the server, this is also a business model. If we did this, we can't charge the user a monthly fee. It will be one constant
It should
cost.
be charging for a reason. Like if everything is at my home and I provide internet access, I can't do that. I don't have to rent a cloud service. You're renting the cloud service that will increase and decrease
Maybe
for a
the cloud-
reason.
The way I see it, the cloud service, I read about this a lot. So the way these things materialize with communities is that people start developing an application. I think the strength of what they're trying to do is to develop the application that will take these, and as that's where the utilize the cloud is where you store these applications and process some of the requests back and forth.
What are the
Perhaps
cloud?
I thought they are going to say something
But let me-
about
let me ask you
collecting
You control it from where? Is it
information to give it to electric companies and
control
know
it
the
locally.
overall
Locally.
the global
phone?
Sorry?
No control?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can control it from here, set conditions, open
You
lights.
can, if you see,
You can show you.
What are the main cloud services you are using in this
So we
project?
are using now 3 services, AWS IoT and SNS for simple notification services to allow to send messages to the mobile SMS, and also Elastic 2 for the web application.
So basically, you are approaching the problem with an IoT mindset. So this is why the cloud will provide also the IoT infrastructure for you already.
This will provide the web application service and also the SNS and the IoT also.
What about the so you have to log in every time, or you have to have a certain application on your phone,
No,
right?
actually, AWS provide us with a private key and a certificate,
Mhm.
and also a root certificate, which we implemented on the Raspberry Pi. So every time we turn on the Python code or we put it start up manually, so it will connect. It will.
Okay, go ahead.
First, we're gonna turn on and off the light.
Can you explain the setup first of all? You
Yes,
explain the
we have,
setup for
we
us.
have the microcontroller here and the camera attached to it for the live stream. Also, we have a temperature sensor and smoke detector, which do some actions when it triggered. Also, here we have a fan and appearance and a lamp, a wireless connected lamp, and a door and a window for LEDs for illuminators. So first, we're gonna turn on the condition, the light condition.
Can you tell us what is this application running? Is it
Yes.
a native application or it's a web application running
A
on?
web application from the URL from AWS.
So it's running in on AWS cloud.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I trigger a button here, it will go to the AWS cloud, then to the Raspberry. We can see here from the terminal that I have a condition that the lights on. So the microcontroller will send to the Zigbee that's the lights, turn the lights on. Also, turn lights off. And we can get the status of the lamp. It will tell us that the lamp is open or off. Also, we have the temperature sensor here that tell us the temperature is 22 right now in this room. And we can set the temperature for a specific room to say that we want this room from 20 to 23. So it's manually, if it's low, it will turn on the appearance. If it's higher, it will turn on the AC. So if we put here, if we put here the temperature is from 10 to 15, and the temperature is 22, the AC will turn on. And if we put it the temperature, it's the AC turn on to decrease the temperature to be
To
in
cool
the,
the room.
yes, the range.
Do you sell any services, online services, or you only make money out of direct sale, basically providing the service? I mean, installing and.
Actually, both. We take the income from selling these products, and also for a premier user, we can provide him with the cloud. We say if you want to access it from the internet, you have to pay fees every month. If we put the temperature from 30 to 40, it will turn off the AC and the appearance will work.
So right now
This
there.
is the furnace. This is the furnace, the light.
Yes.
Right now, in this current version, there is no intelligence. Basically, it's not like Nest.
Just a
So maybe in the
condition
next version,
sense. Machine to
it's
machine learning.
yes. Okay.
And we have the smoke detector. It will actually trigger the buzzer and send me an SMS message, tell me that the smoke alarm is on. Because the internet is weak, it's not coming. But these are previous, and I can prove it from the AWS itself that
So what do you want to show us here?
I want to show you that the AWS actually sent us the message,
Okay.
the SMS message.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
There's many devices that support Zigbee, Z-Wave, low frequency, Bluetooth, so on, Wi-Fi. Why don't you go for a more robust controller? You know, something that will utilize all the devices in the market, and therefore you allow the user flexibility to purchase whatever, and the strength would be in control, rather than. I think you're spreading yourself a little bit, because you're getting into the manufacturers, how manufacturers communicate. Perhaps these things, well, perhaps I know these things are available,
Yes.
but for example, Nest does not communicate with all the controllers. Alert First is a small detector company, it's not controlled by controllers. But I think the strength is when you provide a controller that allows the user, does not tie him to a certain platform or certain radio waves. So you would have a multi-radio controller that allows you to easily bring in all these smart home devices.
Actually, this is the second step after machine-to-machine learning. As Google did,
Pop-
they buy Nest. So Nest, first of all, they have just a smoke detector, I think. So then they provide them for money for another products like camera, and they can communicate. First of all, we're gonna do the conditions, then we learn how to machine-to-machine learning these components. Then the third step is combine them, making one device.
Khalid, since you're building your house, are you deploying any technology? Or you're
I'm deploying Z-Wave, and I'm using Nest controllers, but I recently realized that in order to reduce the friction, which is a device, everything is mostly voice controlled using the Alexa platform, Amazon Echo. So Amazon Echo has actually over hundreds of skills which you can add. It doesn't have a skill for Nest yet, but at some point it will. But I'm only doing trial and error at the moment. But I noticed that the most difficult thing is finding the device that would communicate with everything out there. I don't want to limit myself to a device that controls to Nest because I want Nest. I want something that controls light switches and so on.
But have you ever felt the need for a custom solution?
As I looked, it depends on what I want to do. What I want is a bit of automation and a bit of control. But I believe it's mostly automation, and I do see that the market needs a device that allows for customization, because not every product that you have can work with the controller you have in the other products. So that's where it comes in. There are certain devices like Samsung Smart Things. There's a lot of communities and people develop for that. So I know Nest is not supported, but somebody created a library for Nest. It's third party, and I think this is where the strength is, because Z-Wave, Zigbee, and Bluetooth are all competing still, but it's quite mature. The thing is, the control seems to be the.
It's all about finding the center.
Yeah.
Osama, can you tell us, you think this will work in the industry? You can deploy something similar in your company to control?
Well, yes, I think that having an automated system like this, where we have automation of the power in our company, would be really helpful. I'm also trying to think of my uses at home. I've tried to implement these Internet of Things at home, smart homes, and actually connected it to my AC. And I'm trying to think of the challenges. Actually, some of the challenges that I'm facing is I wanted conditions that would allow, for example, so we live in a hot country, right? So I want to be able, when I'm traveling, I want the AC to come on for several hours if the temperature outside is hot, just to cool the house a little bit, and then to switch off, and then to be idle for several hours and then switch on again. That's just to make sure that my cats stay alive, for example.
We did the conditions here, so.
But I don't want the AC to be running all the time. That's the thing. So the problem that I have now, the problem that I'm facing is if it's on, it stays on.
So it's your thermostat, right?
Yeah, but
No,
it's
it's
all
a
over
window
the
AC. Sorry, not window AC. A switch in.
But I think going back to the energy is what would cater for this market. A lot of the smart home solutions that I find are okay for people that live overseas because their house is structured differently, their needs are different. For us, I think you can capitalize on air conditioning, curtains coming down,
Yes.
You know, at certain times and certain temperatures with sunlight, and then heaters in the winter, and perhaps you know, some kind of, and water,
Yeah.
irrigation and so on.
And the other
These
thing
are
is-
the things that would cater to the consumer in the Middle East, especially now that the prices are.
So-
increasing.
And speaking of hardware also, the challenge that I noticed is there's a lack of devices that support high amperage. So the video that we saw, you speak of a furnace, it's on, or right? But it's a high amperage device. And
So how
there's
this
not-
would
there's not-
interface with
yeah,
an
there's
AC? This is a
AC is 16. You need something that can handle
They
16
provide the
amps.
control.
There's nothing that
So
can,
they
handle,
work
that can
fine.
handle 16 amps. Nothing in the market at least.
You can do it a different way. It's this project is a proof of concept. You can do it with the AR. The AR is better than air conditioner, right? You can put a smart component with the AR. And
Yeah. So what I have the controller that I have is called Tadu. Basically, it's one. I think it's one of two companies that do the split ACs. And yes, it uses AR. But if you go, for example, to window ACs or you go to ovens at home, it doesn't. It will not be able to.
That's why our target is constructed homes.
Yeah.
It's the homes. The ready homes is much difficult to implement these technologies.
Sam, you wanted to say something?
Well, just a comment. I mean, I came across devices that have like a universal remote control. I mean, they have like I don't know, maybe 20 IRs on all directions, and it's a Wi-Fi enabled device, and it's basically a universal remote control that controls anything: ACs, TVs, whatever. I mean, it seems like tying the controller to that device, you know, should become very handy in supporting things that are not very easy to support. Just a thought, just an idea. I was wondering if you consider those Wi-Fi remote, universal remote controls.
Yes, the challenge is how the devices already exist. The challenge is how do we exist, how to control it.
Yeah.
If it's not like a building home, we can choose the devices. We can recommend devices that are in our company needs. We can provide these or can access these. So yes.
Okay.
I have one last question. What's the bandwidth requirements? You mentioned something
An
about the
upload.
bandwidth.
Download.
Download is very simple, but the problem was the upload.
Yes.
Because of the
It's
camera
the
stream,
camera stream.
we did the calculations here.
It was
You have a lot of options. لا احنا سوينا calculation بدون
English, please.
compression.
with compression, black and white, it was minimum like 2 meg.
Yes, you have to
Upload.
upload.
Minimum.
Yes,
This is
because
black and white.
we tested the color because these are calculations. This is the test. We did a real test on 240 pixels on H264 compression YouTube. We tested on normal cellular upload 2 megabyte and the fiber of 10 megabyte. That's the upload. Of course, there is a delay. There's always a delay. This is from YouTube, 10 seconds. It worked fine without any.
So most of the challenge is in the upload. Like
Yes.
The minimum upload speed you need in your home is 2 meg.
This is worked. Unfortunately, we can't reduce our upload speed. We wanted to test for 1 megabyte.
This is for one camera.
Yes, one camera.
This is for one camera only. If you have one camera, did you think of a way to not make it like 100% live streaming, like every second instead of
There are
30 frames
options.
per second?
Depends on the server, the host.
Yeah.
The YouTube, because of the privacy issues and security issues, they've implemented some delays to.
No, I'm talking about the upload.
Talking
Yes.
about burst.
Yeah.
If we have
Always.
the on server, we can
Because
conditions these.
this will look like
You don't need a real time.
You don't need.
Yeah, you just need a picture every 10 seconds, for example.
Yes, there are a lot.
or every 1 second. Now they send 30 frames per second. For
There are
that,
a
this
lot.
is why for black and white the minimum.
This
they
is
have-
color, by the way.
Not color?
The colors.
Oh, okay.
You have a lot of options for streaming. You can send pictures. You can send video. We tested 2 megabyte. We can't say that less than this will not work because we didn't have any this internet connections on this. We wanted something relatively less, 1.5, but we didn't find. We worked with 2 mega and 10 megabyte bit per second. and it worked fine for 240p. Full HD is the problem, but this is only for monitoring. You don't use Full
what
HD.
else do you upload other than the video feed?
Only this is the other upload are just messages. This is the only high bandwidth upload we need.
You don't upload anything else?
No, just messages.
The status, what?
The status are just messages, few kilobytes. It doesn't matter. This is the only high bandwidth upload.
Okay.
We need.
Processor. I mean, this is what, the Pi? What is it?
Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
Raspberry Pi. I mean, is it capable of compressing real time at H.264?
Yes.
We are compressing it.
Okay.
It's very powerful. It's quad core, I think,
Okay.
and 1 gigabyte of RAM. It's very powerful.
Okay.
I think it's the most powerful right now in the market.
Yes.
So this is the latest version of Raspberry Pi?
Yes, because we wanted Wi-Fi. The previous versions didn't have Wi-Fi because we are also using the IEEE standard for communicating. We need 2 protocols. If we took the one without the Wi-Fi, we can't implement both external Wi-Fi and external Zigbee. So we want a built-in Wi-Fi.
Okay, thank you.